What's up, YouTube? RetroBro here, and today I want to have a little discussion as far as Ahmed Mohamed and briefly what I think about his situation. So I'm sure a lot of you know that he got arrested because they thought that the components to his clock were a bomb. So out of being nervous and everything, they actually called the police and thoroughly checked to make sure he was clear. So in this discussion, I'm not going to go over all the news because I'm sure a lot of y'all heard that, but I'm going to go over both sides of the fence as far as the school's perspective, his perspective, and what I thought the school did wrong based on some of the research I did on how schools are supposed to handle bomb procedures, as well as my military experience as far as how you handle bomb procedures and bomb threats. So anyhow, let's go ahead and go into that. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about was the clock components. And I'll be completely honest, if you don't know anything about mechanics or engineering, because the clock was not put together and all you saw were like the wires and devices and stuff, for anyone that's not really trained on bombs or IEDs or anything like that, just looking at Google and how some of the IEDs and stuff look, and then looking at the picture they have for his clock components, it would kinda to some extent look like a bomb. So I understand that, and I understand that the school was trying to be proactive, but I don't agree with the way they actually approached it. And I'm actually going to get into that. Also, I'll put up the picture within this video while I'm talking about it of the clock device so you can look at the components itself and kind of decide for yourself, hey, does this look like a bomb to me? But if you actually do a little research on bomb procedures for schools, and I mean you really got to dig, because what commonly comes up for schools is how to handle bomb threats when people call in a bomb, which is completely different procedure than having the bomb in the physical area. So we're talking more on having the bomb in the physical area, not if it was called in a bomb threat. So for those of you guys that's actually going to look this up and research, make sure you look thoroughly for a bomb in house versus a bomb threat call, because it takes a while to look at, because you'll commonly see just a bomb threat call, because that's apparently the procedure that most schools are prepared for only, which is one of the reasons I really think that the school system needs reform anyhow. But we'll get into that a little more after I explain some more stuff about the school and how they handle things. So I was doing a lot of research on schools and how they handle bomb threats, and surprisingly, the way they're supposed to handle it is very similar to how we're taught to do so in the military. If they believe that there is a bomb on campus, they're supposed to immediately get everyone out of the area, which means they got to get them out of the school and stuff. And if they get them out of the school, chances are students are going to go home. They need to call the police and the fire department, and when the police and fire department come, they actually aren't supposed to touch the bomb at all either, according to the research I looked at. Now, the reason this is similar to the military is because when I did security forces, if there was a bomb, we weren't supposed to touch it either. We're supposed to make sure everyone was out of the area, and we created what's called a cordon. Now, a cordon is actually when you make a 360 within distance of a bomb. So you're not going to be up on it, but you're going to be distance away in a 360. And what this does is it makes sure you can provide security over that area, so anyone that's coming within the area where the bomb would be, you can kind of tell them, sir or ma'am, currently I can't let you go in this area because there's suspicion that there may be a bomb, so I need you to take another route today. And once you tell somebody politely that there may be a bomb in the area, they're just going to have a shocked look and then turn around. No argument. So from what I read about the ROEs for the schools when it comes to actually having a bomb in the area, they would pretty much do the same thing. They would try to get the kids out of there, and then they would call the fire department and the police. And if the police and the fire department aren't supposed to touch the bombs, then that means that they actually would be creating a cordon to make sure that people couldn't go in that area for the safety of people in case it is a bomb. Now, the school actually messed up because the person that thought that Ahmed actually brought in a bomb actually touched it themselves, according to a few articles I read. And when they called the police, and the police went to like apprehend him and to check the bomb, they weren't supposed to check the bomb. Like within police ROEs, they're supposed to make sure everyone is actually away from the bomb, and they actually touched it themselves. Now, this is a problem because a lot of times, just like teachers, police aren't fully trained on handling bombs. They're trained on protecting people from getting near them, but they're not trained to actually dismantle bombs and stuff like that. I guess unless maybe they're like special units or stuff, but they're not trained to dismantle bombs and stuff, which means, let's say hypothetically, that was a real bomb. If it was a real bomb, they would have had everyone killed by touching it. Because one thing also, and I know this from a military experience, IEDs are usually switches. Not switches like you turn on a light or circuit for electricity power, but they're pressure points. They're like pressure points, which means if you step on it or touch it the wrong way, that will make it explode. So let's hypothetically say that that was indeed a real bomb. The procedures they took to handle it would have literally had all these parents' children killed within school. So there's negligence on them not carrying out procedures properly, and also negligence on the way they handled everything with Ahmad, because that would be something that any concerned parent would deal with or see as prejudice. And also, for those who probably would say, well, hey, with 9/11 and everything that happened, people should expect this in this country, because there are some people that say that, and no, that's absolutely wrong. I mean, if we look at another situation, like, okay, let's say, I'm going to use black people for this example because I'm black, and so it shouldn't be a big issue, but let's say people were saying, hey, black people shouldn't dress a certain way to look suspicious to the cops so they don't get pulled over or have issues with the cops. Nobody would let that fly, and they would see that as extreme prejudice, right? Or if people were like, hey, women are getting raped and stuff because of the way they dress, which is completely wrong. They are free to dress however they want, and that would be complete prejudice to even say something like that we wouldn't let fly either. So why? Because this is someone that came from another country, whether 9/11 happened or not, are we going to treat that person that way? And that's just not right. So I just wanted to give those two examples to actually put it in perspective for you guys too. But anyhow, I'm going to put links below to a lot of the information I researched so you can check it out on your own. But I really just want to go over like the negligence that the school actually had. And then one of the other things that I actually read about too is that schools are supposed to be trained on how to handle bombs in-house as well, which shows that since it didn't go down this way, teachers aren't really as well trained as they're supposed to be when it comes to this type of situation. So the way I see it is, this is clearly a serious matter that schools should be working on more. And it also brings to my attention a lot of other issues with school reform that need to be taken care of in school in general, as far as learning curriculum for students and stuff too, but that topic will actually be for another day. Now, I'm not going to just make my gripes and complaints without giving a constructive solution, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now. Now, what I think needs to happen to actually get teachers better trained is that they need to work more within the curriculum of setting up time for teachers to actually get the proper training they need on how to handle emergency threats like this. I mean, teachers are on salary, and for those of you that have jobs that work salary before, you know that as salary, unlike being on the hourly clock, you can be taken in on your day off to do work if it's something that the company needs you to do. So teachers do indeed fit in that category. So for something like this, we all know a lot of teachers don't tend to work in the summer. Not saying that none do, but there's a lot of teachers that usually take time off then. That may be a good time to actually have teachers do a little training on bomb threats and other emergency threats like this to get a little better at it. Also, around Christmas time or so, you get those 2 weeks off. Now, we all know people want to spend time with their families on Christmas and stuff, but you're telling me within those 2 weeks off of school, you can't maybe the first week take care of maybe getting a little training banged out? Maybe like 2 days out of that week, 2 days out of the next week before Christmas to actually have them work on it? I mean, students are out, teachers are out, and I mean, not to say that they're not correcting like homework and all that stuff, but there's also college students who have homework and stuff around that time and still go to work and spend time with their family. So to have teachers micromanage having that type of training within that free time, especially being that they're professionals that are on salary, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not being too harsh. It's something that's an emergency that everyone should learn, and I feel would definitely help more. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. Once again, I'm going to have the links down to a lot of the things I researched so you can check it out, read it yourself, and get a better understanding, as well as kind of backtrack me to make sure my information I'm giving you is credible. Also, in the comment section below, put down what you think about this situation, what you think happened to Ahmed, and how it could have been handled better. But that's it for today. I've been RetroBro, and I am signing out. With you on Pokemon Go and what you think about it so far. Also, maybe